Hello, hello. Welcome to this week's episode of Tracy's Tuesday Talks. I'm your hostess, Tracy Latona, owner of Golden Rose Financial Coaching, where I have the honor and opportunity of helping growth minded people who are stressed and anxious about their finances conquer their money goals. I wanted to share a little bit of my story with you today and go back to the basics with budgeting and why budgeting is so important and how it is the foundation to financial freedom. So, my husband and I got married stupid young. We thought we knew it all. I was 19, he was 21. He was on his first deployment to Afghanistan, came back for that 2 week break. We got married then. He was gone for the first 10 months of our marriage. And when he got back stateside, we moved in together to start married life, and we knew nothing about what a good marriage was. We knew nothing about money. We knew nothing about communication in a marriage. And our finances suffered for it horribly. We had split bank accounts. We had uh, debt collectors calling us that we had no idea that we owed on stuff, and it was a mess. Lots of fights, lots of arguing, lots of strife. And I got to the point to where I actually had to feed the two of us out of a change jar for a week because we were that far in the hole. The bank froze our accounts. And when I found out that there was a different way to manage money, that it didn't have to be super stressful and scary and just clueless, like it was like, oh my gosh, this is how you pay off debt. This is how you do a budget. This is how you talk to your spouse. This is how you can start those conversations of communication. So I wanted to share with you the number one thing that I learned that really, really helps with creating financial freedom, with reducing that stress, with being able to talk to your spouse about finances. And that's really having goals, for one, of what it is you want your life to look like, what you want your marriage to look like, what you want your money to look like, personally and within the relationship, and then creating the roadmap and using tools to get there. And the number one tool that even 93% of millionaires, that's like they've got money in the bank, that they still do to this day, is follow a written, feasible budget. So a lot of people might be thinking, oh, yeah, of course they follow a budget. They're millionaires, they have money. Everybody, no matter whether or not you are making very little or you're making so much that you can't even outspend your income, which is very rare, everybody should steward their resources and have a mission for their money, where you tell Benjamin where to sit, where to stay, where to go, and how you want your money to work for you that month. So everybody should have a plan for their money, should have a plan for their income, a plan for their resources, and have it work for them to get them towards their goals. So that sounds great and that sounds wonderful in theory. A lot of stuff sounds great on theory, but how do you make that practical? A lot of conversations that I have with people about budgeting is, well, I'm just too impulsive, or I don't know how to budget for the things that I can't control, or I don't know how to account for certain things that'll pop up during the month. During this conversation with you today, I'm going to dive into some of that stuff and really address some of the pushback that I get, or a lot of problems that I help a lot of people solve when it comes to budgeting. So, first off, what is a budget? Backtracking to what I just said, a budget is a mission for your money. Tracking your transactions and telling your budget, hey, we just spent 75 bucks at Walmart, or hey, we just put 50 bucks in the gas tank, and tracking that money within your budget is what makes it work. Having a list of what your bills are, when they're due, what they are, is a great start to having a budget, but that's essentially a spending plan. I make the joke that's what Congress does. They have a spending plan. For the love of all things holy, don't be like Congress, and please track your transactions and know where your money's actually going in real time. not just at the end of the week or looking back at the end of the month, because that's not going to help you stay on track with your budget. So I'm going to share with you a quick start budget guide from Ramsey Solutions. This is from the old school FPU. I used to have their old DVD kits, and this was in that kit. So it is not my property, it is theirs. Just wanted to make that super clear. But this is the first session that I do with every single client, whether or not a budget is a 4-letter B word to them or they've been budgeting proficiently for years. And the reason why I do this first on paper, regardless if they already have a budget in an app or already are working their money well, is something physiologically different happens in the brain when you write stuff down on paper versus just typing it into an Excel spreadsheet or onto an app. It lights up the pain center of your brain when you write down that you have a $700 a month truck payment, or you realize that you spend $800 a month on DoorDash under restaurants. So the first step to use this budgeting sheet is up here. We're going to write down all of your household monthly take-home pay. That includes income from side jobs, any income from like VA benefits, anything from side jobs or gigs, or somebody's paying you back for something that you loan them money for, anything after tax, what you get in your paycheck comes in this monthly take-home pay. Now, keep in mind, things like health insurance or identity theft or disability insurance might come out of your paycheck first before you get paid. We'll get into that in just a moment. So just pay attention to the things that come out of your paycheck first before you get paid. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to look at each category and each line item within each category. And you're going to write down, how much are we tithing? How much are we giving? And then at the bottom of each category, there is a bubble where you add up your line items. This is going to be important to fill in because it'll provide insight. Oh my gosh, I spent $1,000 a month on utilities. Let's take a look at that category and see what's going on there and see if there's an area where we can trim back. And it's also going to help with the math later on of adding up all of your monthly expenses. There are percentages down here at the bottom. I'm not sure how well you can see them. Those are just recommended percentages. It's just a guideline, a baseline of what a good number is to see if you're within a good limit for your income. Each family is going to look different. If you're a single bachelor or bachelorette, your food budget is going to look a lot different than if you're married with 6 kids. So those are just guidelines. So once you've gone through and you've filled in every line item that is applicable to you, I love this budgeting sheet because it's like, hey, pet supplies. Oh yeah, I need to buy cat litter or dog food. You're going to add everything up and put it in those bubbles down at the bottom. I love this miscellaneous piece down here at the bottom. This is where you can add cushion into your budget to help plan for those small unexpected expenses that don't quite qualify for you to touch your emergency fund yet. So this would be, oh my gosh, my kid got invited to a birthday party on the fly and we got to get a birthday gift. Or, oh my gosh, this utility bill was slightly more than I anticipated and it's going to go over. That cushion or that miscellaneous is kind of like your catch-all, extra little breathing room within your budget to account for those miscellaneous oopsies that you can't really plan for. That is not an excuse to just go out and do random stuff without the plan and just throw it into miscellaneous and say, oh, miscellaneous will take care of it. No worries. It's not an excuse to just go off and blow your budget in other categories just because it's there as a cushion, as a safety net, without you having to touch your oh crap, emergency fund. So one thing that I really like to do with my clients when it comes to the debt piece is write out what the minimum payments are, not what you're currently paying. So if your car payment is $589 and you pay $600, you would write $589 under budgeted because you're paying the minimums on all of your debts except the smallest one. The smallest one, when you're working on your debt snowball, you're throwing everything extra at it. Please take a look at how to destroy debt video on YouTube for that. And then in the margin down here off on the side, I have them write down the total amount owed, the balance that they have on their debt. So minimum payment goes on the line, total amount owed goes off in the margin. All right, almost done with this sheet. These bubbles right down here, we're going to take that monthly take-home pay, which is right here, put it in this top line item, add up all of your different categories, and put that in this middle bubble. So we're taking your income minus your expenses, and we're shooting for this number right down here to be 0. This is called zero-based budgeting. That does not mean that your bank account goes to 0. It just means that you have a mission for every dollar. So if you have extra money, based on the 7 baby steps, you'll know where that extra money ought to go. If you're negative and your budget is upside down, like a lot of my clients start off with me in the beginning, you can comb back through and be like, okay, maybe I really don't need $200 for clothes. Maybe I can make that 50. Or maybe I really don't need $1,500 for groceries. I can try to make that $1,200. Same thing with personal items. Maybe I really don't need to get a haircut this month. Maybe that can wait next month, that kind of thing. Going through needs versus wants until you have a zero-based budget. So what do you do with this sheet once you have it filled out and it's good to go and you have that zero-based budget? This is where you get to make the rubber meet the road and make your spending plan actually turn into a living, breathing, feasible budget. Remember, tracking your transactions is the thing that will help keep you on course and help you keep in alignment with your mission for your money or your budgets. So finding a method that works best for you, and if you're married, your spouse as well, to track those transactions is going to be imperative. It can be anything from a budgeting app like EveryDollar, Mint, or You Need a Budget. It can be an Excel spreadsheet. My accountants love their Excel spreadsheets. Or if you're old school and you have the self-discipline to stay on top of and continually remember to write out how much you have left in each category or cross off that bill, pen and paper works too. Tracking your transactions is going to make this budget really thick. There's so much when it comes to tracking transactions. This will be able to tell you whether or not you are able to go out to that restaurant with your friends or how much money you have left at the grocery store. If it's the last 4 days of the month and you have $100, yes, I have permission to buy this steak. Awesome. Or if it's the last 4 days and you've got $10 and you have no food in the house, okay, it might be rice and beans time. So knowing where you're at within your budget is going to really help you stick to your budget. All right, guys. If you have any questions on this, please reach out to me. Direct message me, shoot me a call or a text, or feel free to use that link below to schedule a complimentary financial coaching session. If you have questions, if you really need some help with accountability, or if you want somebody to walk alongside of you and help you create those goals and help you with sticking to that budget, sticking with mindsets, habits, and behaviors with your money to be able to stay on track and create transformation with your finances. It would be an honor. Thank you so much for joining me. Please like, share, and subscribe to the social media channel that you are watching this on. And I will see you guys next week. Thanks so much. Have a blessed day.